Lucas and Mariana had always cherished their peaceful life in a small town. Married for 10 years, they faced the everyday challenges with unity and love. Their bond was strong, and their days were filled with the simple joys of companionship and shared dreams. However, their lives took an unexpected turn one fateful evening when Lucas came home with news that would change everything. "Mariana, you won't believe it. We won. We really won the lottery," Lucas exclaimed, his voice trembling with excitement. Mariana's eyes widened in disbelief. "Oh my God, Lucas. This is incredible. Our lives are going to change completely." Their minds raced with possibilities. They could finally pay off their debts, travel the world, and provide a better future for their children. The couple spent the night dreaming about their new life, imagining all the wonderful things they could do with their newfound wealth. It felt like a blessing, a dream come true. In the weeks that followed, their lives did indeed change, but not in the way they had imagined. The money brought with it a whirlwind of new responsibilities and pressures. Friends and distant relatives emerged from the woodwork, each with their own stories and pleas for help. The couple, who had always been content with their modest means, found themselves thrust into a world of opulence and excess. At first, they tried to manage it all together. They hired financial advisors, made investments, and even donated to charity. But the strain of their new lifestyle began to take its toll. Lucas, who had always been grounded and practical, started to change. He became obsessed with their finances, constantly checking their accounts and worrying about their investments. Mariana, on the other hand, felt overwhelmed by the attention and expectations of their newfound social circle. She missed the simplicity of their old life, the days when they could just be themselves without the weight of their wealth hanging over them. The couple began to drift apart. Their conversations, once filled with warmth and understanding, turned into arguments about money and priorities. Lucas accused Mariana of being ungrateful, while she accused him of losing sight of what really mattered. The love that had once been their anchor now seemed to be slipping away, replaced by resentment and bitterness. One evening, after yet another heated argument, Mariana made a decision. "Lucas, I can't do this anymore. This money, it's tearing us apart. I want a divorce." Lucas was stunned. "Mariana, you can't be serious. We've been through so much together. We can't let this money destroy us." But Mariana was resolute. "It's not just the money, Lucas. It's everything. We've changed. I don't even recognize us anymore." The divorce was swift and painful. The couple, who had once been inseparable, now found themselves on opposite sides of a courtroom, dividing their assets and saying goodbye to a decade of shared memories. The town, which had watched their rise to wealth with envy and admiration, now whispered about their downfall. In the aftermath of the divorce, Lucas and Mariana went their separate ways. Lucas moved to the city, hoping to find solace in the anonymity of urban life. He threw himself into his work, trying to fill the void left by the loss of his marriage. But no matter how much he tried, he couldn't escape the emptiness that haunted him. The money, which had once seemed like a blessing, now felt like a curse, a constant reminder of what he had lost. Mariana, on the other hand, returned to the small town where they had started their journey. She bought a modest house and tried to rebuild her life. She found comfort in the familiar faces and routines of her old community. But the pain of the divorce lingered, a shadow that hung over her every day. Months turned into years, and slowly, both Lucas and Mariana began to heal. They found new paths, new passions, and new people to share their lives with. But neither of them could forget the love they had once shared, the bond that had been broken by the weight of their wealth. One day, fate brought them back together. It was a chance encounter at a charity event, a cause they had both supported in their own ways. As their eyes met across the room, the years melted away, and they were once again Lucas and Mariana, the couple who had faced the world together. They talked for hours, reminiscing about the past, sharing their regrets and their hopes for the future. They realized that despite everything, the love they had once shared was still there, buried beneath the pain and the anger. In the end, they decided to give their love another chance. They knew it wouldn't be easy, that they would have to work through their issues and rebuild the trust that had been broken. But they were willing to try, to fight for the love that had once been their greatest treasure. And so, Lucas and Mariana embarked on a new journey, one that was filled with hope and possibility. They had learned the hard way that money couldn't buy happiness, that true wealth was found in the love and connection they shared. And with that knowledge, they faced the future together, ready to create a new life, one that was richer and more fulfilling than they had ever imagined. The sudden influx of wealth brought to light irreconcilable differences between Lucas and Mariana. What had once been a harmonious partnership began to fracture under the weight of their newfound fortune. Lucas, exhilarated by the possibilities, wanted to invest in risky ventures, dreaming of multiplying their wealth and securing a legacy of financial empire. Mariana, however, had a different vision. She wanted to use the money to help their community and ensure a safe and stable future for their children. The disparity in their dreams created a rift that widened with each passing day. As the days turned into weeks, their disagreements grew more frequent and intense. Lucas accused Mariana of lacking ambition, while she accused him of being reckless and irresponsible. The once warm and loving atmosphere of their home became charged with tension and hostility. Their conversations, which used to be filled with laughter and mutual support, now devolved into heated arguments and bitter exchanges. One evening, Mariana stumbled upon a revelation that shook her to her core. While sorting through some old documents in Lucas's study, she found a letter from years ago. It was from a woman she had never heard of, and as she read through it, the shocking truth emerged. Lucas had a son from a previous relationship, a child he had never mentioned in all their years together. Mariana felt her world crumble around her as the trust she had in Lucas shattered into pieces. When she confronted Lucas, the air was thick with accusation and betrayal. "How could you hide something like this from me, Lucas? I thought we were partners in everything." Lucas, caught off guard, struggled to find the words. "Mariana, I didn't know how to tell you. It was a mistake from my past, and I didn't want it to affect our life together." Mariana's eyes blazed with anger and hurt. "A mistake? A mistake is forgetting an anniversary, not hiding a child. How could you lie to me all these years?" The revelation of Lucas's secret child was a blow from which their relationship could not recover. But the unraveling didn't stop there. In the midst of their turmoil, Lucas discovered that Mariana had transferred a substantial amount of their lottery winnings into a separate account. She had done it out of fear, worried that Lucas would squander their fortune on his risky investments. When Lucas confronted her about the money, his voice was filled with a mixture of hurt and disbelief. "How could you do this, Mariana? I thought we were in this together. I thought we trusted each other." Mariana, her own voice shaking with emotion, responded, "And I thought you were honest with me, Lucas. How could you hide a child from me?" I did what I had to do to protect our future." Their home, once a sanctuary of love and understanding, became a battleground of accusations and mistrust. Each felt betrayed by the other, and the wounds of their secrets festered, making reconciliation seem impossible. The communication between them, once so open and supportive, turned hostile and defensive. Every conversation became a minefield, every word a potential trigger for another explosion of anger and pain. The tension in their home affected everything. Their children, sensing the strain between their parents, became withdrawn and anxious. Friends and family, once welcomed with open arms, now found themselves kept at a distance. The couple that had once been the epitome of love and partnership was now a cautionary tale of how money could destroy even the strongest bonds. One night, in the midst of yet another argument, Lucas's voice broke as he said, "Mariana, how did we get here? We used to be so happy. What happened to us?" Mariana, tears streaming down her face, replied, "We let money come between us, Lucas. We let it change who we are. I don't even recognize us anymore." The realization that their love had been overshadowed by their wealth was a painful one. They had allowed their dreams and fears to drive a wedge between them, and the damage seemed irreparable. The house that had once been filled with laughter and love was now a place of sorrow and regret. In the end, the couple that had once faced the world together found themselves on opposite sides of a chasm too wide to bridge. The divorce, when it came, was swift and painful, a final acknowledgement that their love had been consumed by their differences and the secrets they had kept from each other. Lucas moved to the city, seeking solace in the anonymity of urban life. He threw himself into his work, trying to forget the family he had lost. But no matter how hard he tried, the emptiness remained, a constant reminder of the price he had paid for his ambition. Mariana stayed in the small town, trying to rebuild her life and find peace. She focused on her children and her community, hoping to create a new sense of stability and purpose. But the pain of the past lingered, a shadow that haunted her every day. Years later, their paths crossed again at a charity event. As their eyes met across the room, the years of pain and regret melted away, and they were once again Lucas and Mariana, the couple who had once faced the world together. They talked for hours, sharing their regrets and their hopes for the future. They realized that despite everything, the love they had once shared was still there, buried beneath the pain and the anger. In the end, they decided to give their love another chance. They knew it wouldn't be easy, that they would have to work through their issues and rebuild the trust that had been broken. But they were willing to try, to fight for the love that had once been their greatest treasure. And so, Lucas and Mariana embarked on a new journey, one that was filled with hope and possibility. They had learned the hard way that money couldn't buy happiness, that true wealth was found in the love and connection they shared. And with that knowledge, they faced the future together, ready to create a new life, one that was richer and more fulfilling than they had ever imagined. Mariana's brother, Pedro, returned to the town after years of being away, bringing with him a secret that had the potential to change everything. Pedro was a mysterious man with a shadowy past that he rarely spoke about. His sudden reappearance in Mariana's life was both a surprise and a relief. She had always held a soft spot for her older brother, despite the years of silence between them. Pedro's presence was comforting, and he offered her emotional and financial support just when she needed it most. Pedro's return coincided with the turbulent period following Mariana's discovery of Lucas's secret child, and the subsequent financial betrayal. As Mariana struggled to navigate the chaos of her crumbling marriage, Pedro became her confidant. He listened to her fears and frustrations, offering advice and reassurance. His own experiences with wealth and loss gave his words a weight that Mariana found hard to ignore. One evening, as they sat on the porch of Mariana's house, Pedro revealed a part of his past that he had kept hidden for years. "Mariana, there's something you need to know. I, too, won the lottery years ago. But I lost everything because I trusted the wrong people. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did." Mariana looked at her brother, her eyes filled with concern. "Pedro, what happened?" Pedro sighed, the weight of his past evident in his voice. "I was naive. I thought I could handle it all, but I was wrong. People took advantage of me, and before I knew it, everything was gone. You need to protect what you have, for yourself and for your children. Lucas's ambitions are dangerous. He could lose everything, just like I did." Mariana felt a chill run down her spine. Pedro's warning resonated deeply with her own fears about Lucas's risky investments. She knew she had to be cautious, but she also felt torn. Lucas was her husband, and despite everything, she still cared for him. Meanwhile, Lucas, driven by his own suspicions and the deteriorating state of their marriage, hired a private detective to investigate Mariana's financial activities. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story than Mariana was letting on. The detective, a seasoned professional, began digging into Mariana's accounts and the people around her. It wasn't long before the detective uncovered something shocking. He discovered that Pedro was being sought after in another state for fraud. The revelation was staggering. Pedro, who had presented himself as Mariana's protector and advisor, was actually a fugitive. The detective's findings suggested that Pedro might be manipulating Mariana to gain access to her money, possibly using it to launder his own ill-gotten gains. The detective arranged a meeting with Lucas to share his findings. "Lucas, your brother-in-law is not who he claims to be. He's involved in fraudulent activities and is wanted in another state. There's a strong possibility that he's using Mariana to get to the money." Lucas felt a surge of anger and betrayal. He had never fully trusted Pedro, but this revelation confirmed his worst fears. He knew he had to act quickly to protect his family and their assets. Confronting Mariana with the detective's report was one of the hardest things Lucas had ever done. He found her in the kitchen, preparing dinner, and handed her the file. "Mariana, you need to see this. It's about Pedro." Mariana's hands trembled as she opened the file and read through the detective's findings. Her face paled as the truth sank in. "I can't believe this. Pedro, he lied to me." Lucas's voice was firm but gentle. "Mariana, I know this is hard to accept, but we need to protect ourselves. We can't let him take advantage of you." Mariana felt a whirlwind of emotions: betrayal, anger, sadness. She had trusted Pedro, believed in his intentions, and now she felt like a fool. But she also knew that Lucas was right. They had to take action to safeguard their family. With a heavy heart, Mariana confronted Pedro. "Pedro, is it true? Are you involved in fraud?" Pedro's face hardened, and for a moment, the brother she thought she knew was replaced by a stranger. "Mariana, you don't understand. I did what I had to do to survive." Mariana's voice shook with emotion. "You lied to me. You used me. How could you?" Pedro's expression softened, but the damage was done. "Mariana, I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted to protect you from making the same mistakes I did." But Mariana couldn't hear him over the sound of her own heartbreak. She had lost trust in yet another important person in her life. The web of deceit and betrayal seemed to tighten around her, leaving her feeling more isolated than ever. In the days that followed, Mariana and Lucas took steps to secure their finances and distance themselves from Pedro. The process was painful, but it also brought them closer together. They began to communicate more openly, rebuilding the trust that had been shattered. Slowly, they started to find their way back to each other, realizing that their love was stronger than the challenges they faced. Pedro's departure from their lives was a bittersweet moment. Mariana mourned the loss of the brother she thought she knew, but she also felt a sense of relief. She could finally focus on her family and their future without the shadow of Pedro's deceit hanging over them. As the years passed, Lucas and Mariana rebuilt their lives, stronger and wiser from their experiences. They learned to value each other and the love they shared, understanding that true wealth was found not in money, but in the bonds of trust and affection that held their family together. The atmosphere at the family dinner was tense, a thin veneer of politeness barely concealing the storm brewing beneath the surface. Mariana had hoped for a peaceful evening, a chance to bring some semblance of normalcy back to their lives. But Lucas had other plans. He could no longer keep quiet about what he had discovered. As they sat around the table, the clinking of cutlery and the murmur of small talk filled the air. Lucas's gaze shifted between Mariana and Pedro, his mind racing with the weight of the revelations he was about to unleash. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation. "Pedro," Lucas began, his voice steady but filled with a simmering anger, "there's something we need to discuss. Something that concerns all of us." Pedro looked up, a flicker of unease crossing his face. "What is it, Lucas?" Lucas's eyes burned with intensity. "I've been doing some digging, and I found out the truth about you. You're a liar and a manipulator, Pedro. You've been using Mariana to get to our money." Mariana's fork clattered onto her plate as she stared at Lucas in shock. "Lucas, what are you talking about?" Lucas reached into his pocket and pulled out the detective's report, slamming it onto the table. "Read it, Mariana. It's all there. Pedro is wanted for fraud in another state. He's been lying to you from the moment he walked back into our lives." Pedro's face darkened, and his voice took on a defensive edge. "You think you're so righteous, Lucas? You're no better. You've been hiding your own secrets, betraying Mariana's trust just as much as you accuse me of doing." Mariana's head spun as she looked between the two men. The room seemed to close in around her, the walls echoing with the accusations and revelations. "What secrets, Pedro? What is he talking about, Lucas?" Lucas's face flushed with a mix of guilt and anger. "I made mistakes, Mariana. I should have told you about my past, about my son. But that doesn't change the fact that Pedro is a criminal. He's been manipulating you, using you to launder his money." Pedro's voice rose, his indignation palpable. "I did what I had to do to survive, Lucas. You don't know what it's like to lose everything. I was trying to protect Mariana from making the same mistakes I did." Mariana's hands trembled as she tried to process the barrage of information. Her brother, her husband, both had betrayed her in different ways. The love and trust she had placed in them felt like a fragile illusion, shattered by their secrets and lies. "Enough." Mariana's voice cut through the heated exchange, silencing both men. Her eyes blazed with a mixture of fury and determination. "I won't let either of you destroy my life and the lives of my children. This ends now." The room fell silent, the weight of Mariana's words hanging in the air. Lucas and Pedro stared at her, their anger momentarily overshadowed by the force of her resolve. Mariana took a deep breath, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "Lucas, you should have been honest with me from the start. Your secrets have hurt us, but I understand why you kept them. And Pedro, I trusted you. I believed in you. But you used that trust for your own gain." Pedro's face softened, a hint of regret in his eyes. "Mariana, I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted to protect you." Mariana shook her head, her expression resolute. "Protect me? By lying to me? By putting my family at risk? No, Pedro. That's not protection. That's betrayal." She turned to Lucas, her voice firm. "And you, Lucas? I need to know that I can trust you. That we can rebuild our lives together without any more secrets." Lucas nodded, his voice filled with sincerity. "Mariana, I promise. No more secrets. I'll do whatever it takes to earn back your trust." Mariana looked between the two men, the weight of her decision pressing down on her. She knew that she had to protect her children, to create a stable and loving environment for them. But she also knew that she couldn't do it alone. She needed to find a way to move forward, to heal the wounds that had been inflicted on her family. "I need time," she said finally, her voice soft but resolute. "Time to think, to figure out what's best for me and the kids. But know this, I won't let either of you manipulate me or use me ever again." With that, she stood up from the table and walked out of the room, leaving Lucas and Pedro in stunned silence. The weight of her words lingered in the air, a reminder of the strength and determination that lay beneath her pain. In the days that followed, Mariana took steps to secure her finances and protect her children. She sought legal advice, ensuring that her assets were safeguarded from any further manipulation. She also began to rebuild her relationship with Lucas, slowly but surely, as they worked through their issues and tried to regain the trust that had been broken. Pedro, realizing the extent of the damage he had caused, decided to leave town. He knew that his presence would only continue to create tension and uncertainty for Mariana. As he said his goodbyes, he promised to make amends for his mistakes and to find a way to rebuild his own life without causing further harm to his sister. Mariana's journey was far from over, but she faced it with a newfound strength and clarity. She had learned the hard way that trust was a fragile thing, easily broken but also capable of being rebuilt. With Lucas by her side, she began to create a new future for her family, one that was grounded in honesty and love. As the years passed, the wounds of the past slowly healed. Mariana and Lucas found a new rhythm in their relationship, one that was built on mutual respect and understanding. They learned to communicate openly, to support each other through the challenges they faced. And through it all, they never forgot the lessons they had learned about the true value of trust and the importance of protecting the ones they loved. In the end, Mariana emerged stronger and more resilient than ever. She had faced betrayal and deceit, but she had also found the strength to overcome it. And with Lucas by her side, she knew that they could face whatever challenges the future held together. Mariana knew she had to make a drastic change to protect herself and her children. The revelations about Lucas and Pedro had shattered the foundation of trust she had built her life upon. She decided to distance herself from both men, seeking legal and emotional counsel to ensure the safety and well-being of her family. The decision was not easy, but it was necessary. She needed to create a stable and loving environment for her children, free from the deceit and manipulation that had plagued their lives. With the help of a trusted attorney, Mariana took steps to secure her finances and safeguard her children's future. She moved into a new home, a modest but comfortable place where they could start fresh. She also sought therapy, finding solace and guidance in the sessions that helped her navigate the emotional turmoil she was experiencing. Lucas, left to his own devices, continued to pursue his risky investments. But without Mariana's stabilizing influence, his ventures began to falter. One by one, his investments failed, and he watched helplessly as his fortune dwindled. The financial empire he had dreamed of building crumbled around him, leaving him with nothing but regret for the choices he had made. Pedro, meanwhile, could not escape the consequences of his actions. The authorities eventually caught up with him, and he was arrested for his fraudulent activities. As he faced the legal repercussions of his crimes, he was forced to confront the damage he had caused not only to himself but also to his sister and her family. Mariana, determined to build a better life for her children, used the remaining lottery winnings to create a stable and nurturing environment. She focused on their education, ensuring they had access to the best opportunities available. She also became deeply involved in her community, dedicating her time and resources to social projects that aimed to uplift those in need. Through her efforts, she found a sense of purpose and fulfillment that money alone could never provide. One evening, as she sat with her children in their cozy living room, Mariana reflected on the journey they had been through. "I learned the hard way that money can bring out the worst in people," she said softly, her voice tinged with both sadness and strength. "But I also learned that I am stronger than I ever imagined." Her children listened intently, their eyes wide with understanding and admiration. They had seen their mother face incredible challenges and emerge stronger each time. They knew that the love and integrity she had shown them were far more valuable than any amount of money. As the years passed, Mariana found peace and stability in her new life. She continued to work on community projects, helping to create positive change and support those who were struggling. Her efforts were recognized and appreciated, and she became a respected figure in the town. Her children thrived in the loving and supportive environment she had created, growing into kind and compassionate individuals. One day, as they gathered around the dinner table, Mariana looked at her children with pride and love. "We've been through difficult times," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "But we always have each other. That's all we need to be happy." Her words resonated deeply with her children, who nodded in agreement. They knew that the true wealth of their family lay in the bonds of love and trust they shared, not in material possessions. They had learned from their mother's example that integrity and compassion were the foundations of a fulfilling life. Mariana's journey had been filled with trials and tribulations, but she had emerged stronger and wiser. She had discovered that true wealth was not measured in money but in the love and connection she shared with her children and her community. Through her resilience and determination, she had built a life that was rich in meaning and purpose. In the end, Mariana found the happiness and stability she had always sought. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she and her children would face them together, united by the love and integrity that defined their family. And that, she realized, was the greatest wealth of all.